What's poppin', y'all? This is Deidre with One Shot Game, and you already know how the motto go and what time it is. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to, learn all the game you need to improve your life. And what better way than to come to YouTube and watch videos and soak in knowledge that you might not otherwise learn from your environment or your circumstances. Again, I just want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. You guys are great. Make sure y'all like, comment, share, and subscribe. And even if you don't and you just listening, that's fine too. This video is going to try to be short, but you know me and how I do. I get to talking and then makes a left turn. This is important for our generation, for our society, for us to get along as people. And these are only to the people that are willing to change and willing to grow, because again, it's always going to be evil. It's always going to be, somebody just mad at the world. It's going to be happiness. It's going to be light. It's going to be darkness. But once you drop the ego, and professional doctors call it narcissism, you know what I'm saying, but I'm saying the ego, because it is your self entitlement and how you are so into yourself based off of things you have went through, things that have affected you, to where your ego is so high. You look down on others. You're not as open towards others as you are to yourself. It's basically like a defense mechanism. I think a lot of people have high egos simply for the fact that at some point in life they were talked about, put down, made to feel less than, so their ego is higher than the average person. But because of that ego that everyone has, a lot of times it ends people up in dangerous situations. A lot of times it is the cause of violence. It is the cause of death. It is the cause of basically, just being ugly towards people, because your ego is so high. We have to be willing to understand that having some sort of sense of ego is fine. Everybody's entitled to have some sense of ego about themselves. It's natural, but not towards the point that you disregard and treat other human beings ugly. All living the same life. We have all been through a lot of the same mistakes. And I don't think people really realize how much we are alike, tailored in our DNA and genetics. A lot of us in the world have went through a lot of the same similar situations, but some of us switched sides. And some of us understood that, you know what, I'm either going to fail and let what people say about me get me down, or I'm going to grow some sense of self, but I'm not going to grow such a high ego that I feel like it's okay to put other people down or let my anger get the best of me, to where I put other people's life in jeopardy or I lash out in anger. And let me give you an example of how that happens sometimes. It could be a bully at school. His main mission, his or her, when they get to school, is to bully people, period. Because whatever situation they are going through at home, whatever situation they may have faced against other bullies that bullied them that they don't talk about, in turn turns them inward. And so now they get a satisfaction out of being a bully towards others, because at some point somebody made their self-worth less than, and the only way to have some self-worth about themselves is to bully others. It is a lot of it that happens in schools. It is a lot of the reason why some of these kids growing up don't have no self-esteem, because at some point in the home or in the school, they're getting bullied or judged for being themselves. But it's really coming from that bully having an ego and them turning that ego into making others feel less than, because at some point they felt less than. And they get a rise out of that. And it doesn't even go for just bullies, it goes for humans in general, even adults. You will have maybe, a bunch of guys at a club or whatever. Two of them got guns, the rest of them can fight, right? Some dude comes up to the one, with the gun, talking about, hey, you know what? One of your friends didn't pay me all the way for the drink that I served them. I'm $2 short. Can you give me $2? Now that person with the gun is feeling pressed, like somebody's trying to tell them what to do, and they pull out the gun and start shooting, either scaring the crowd or killing the man for simply pressing him for a couple dollars. That's the ego talking. But once that person is caught and put in prison, now their ego is getting piped down, because now you're in a cage with people who really do this for real, and you don't have no weapons. It's a sense of ego and entitlement to think it's okay just to start problems with anybody and everyone solely because you are hurt. And you get a sense of validation by doing that to others. Even people that is, you know what I'm saying, ready to fight all the time. They can take a simple mistake that somebody is trying to communicate to them and turn it into a whole violent outrage. I've seen it so many times. It's sad, especially starting at a young teenage, years. When I was younger and I was a teenager growing up, I went to a lot of house parties out here in Sacramento, right? And it was so many kids you wouldn't even believe carrying guns. You step on their shoes wrong, you spill a drink on them the wrong way, they just take out the gun and start shooting everybody. They don't got nothing to lose, because their self-esteem and self-value is so low that they already had an intention on, if somebody disrespected them, they was gonna air it out. And sometimes you encounter these people with guns who know how to fight, but a lot of them don't know how to fight. I solely believe it is a lot of people who carry guns for protection, especially men, because a lot of them are not set for violence. A lot of them are not set for fighting. So the whole trick of the scheme is, I have to beat you. I have to show my power over you in some way, which means if I have to kill you or injure you through a gun, then that's what I'm going to do. And they're easily accessible. Like, it's not hard for anybody to get a gun out here, which is the crazy thing about it. Bullets have no names and they take lives for stupid, dumb reasons. It's not the guns that's killing people, it's the people with the guns that's killing people. Their anger, their rage, their sense of entitlement, their ego, the narcissism. You know what I'm saying? Having to have the power over any and everything will cause them to make a rash, irrational judgment based off of an emotion that comes from the ego. I've seen it so much in my life growing up. I was even involved in it in myself, as far as when it came to my relationships. A sense of, I have to show my ego. I have to show that I'm valid. I have to show my power. And however I'm going to do that is how I see fit for the situation. If that caused me being abusive, if that caused me being angry, if that caused me being verbally abusive, I'm going to do it. Because I need the power. I need the control. I'm typically not a violent person at all. Like, I've probably only been in maybe one or two fights in my whole entire life. And that was just stemming from my emotions and rage coming from a certain situation and not being able to contain it. When it comes to anybody speaking on my brother who passed away when he was 17, like, that boils my blood. And the emotion that comes from that, I'm liable to do anything. But now that I'm older and I know that if I just react off the handle, I'm risking ending up in a permanent situation and being taken away from my daughter. And because I have somebody to live for now, I don't just make irrational decisions like that. But in the past, I was so fueled with anger, like, it was basically letting my ego talk. when you let your ego talk and you so full with rage, and you just ready to lash out in anger, right? And the situation I was in, somebody had spoke on my brother. It made me upset because I was still grieving from it and still in anger and still didn't process my emotions from it, that I rallied up everybody I could get and I went to somebody's house. My mom had told me, you don't go to nobody's house, simply because of the simple fact, your ego and being angry in that moment and going to someone's house out of anger, you don't know what these people have in their home. This is their safe place. This is their peace. It is a possibility you can end up dead. It is a possibility you can end up seriously hurt. Because now you are disturbing people's peace by going to their house, by going to their workplace, by going to, wherever you may see them at. That's and they're supposed to be feeling protected in that space. Anything can happen due to your ego and not thinking. You have to be able to get to a point in life where you're able to control those emotions. And when you figure out how to control your emotions, it will help you release your ego. I'm the type of person that, and maybe it's other people out there as well, like, I'm attracted to personality. I'm attracted to, the vibe that I get from a person. And that does not mean they have to be the baddest. That does not mean they have to have the most gold chains on. It does not mean they have to be flaunting all the money and have the nice car and have the nice house. They could be that person sitting in the corner in the back on their phone, sipping their wine. And the moment y'all lock eyes, you'll be able to tell right then and there their soul and their personality is more beautiful than anything on the outside. A lot of people in this world today, it's hard for them to even get to that point in life because they're more so fixed on somebody that they can bully, in a sense, like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody they can overpower, someone they can control, because they lack control and their ego fiends for it. So that's why a lot of times you see people getting into disputes and discrepancies, and the anger that is inside a lot of us as humans is really dangerous and at an all-time high right now. You can have a whole plan to support everybody and five people move into an apartment, and one person is got a better job than the rest of everybody else, and two of the people mad because they can't get a job, so now they in anger and they just mad at the person with the job, and one day wake up and just stab them. Like, it's real. That's that ego. Everybody has to be at a place where the ego has to be dropped, solely because there is nothing in this world that you have experienced that someone hasn't already experienced. The problem is you holding it in and you not telling nobody about it, so you think you're the only one. When if you put the blinders down and take the shade off, you'll be able to understand and see that a lot of the people we attract in life is because they mirror us in some way. They have some of the same traits that we have. That is why we get along with them so well. It's people in the world that one incident really just hurt them so bad can have them switch sides to where they have no empathy or sympathy for nobody, but they act and they pretend, because we all have to be able to vibe with people until after so long you're able to see the real them. Like, if you always with a friend, you know what I'm saying, they get angry at the most simplest, littlest things. Y'all could be having fun at the mall, in the car, we chilling, we gigging to the music. Put the coffee in the cup holder the wrong way, that person get mad. I told you not to put the... It's like, bro, wait, whoa. Everybody in the car don't say nothing. We just act like that incident never happened, and we keep going on and on. And it's a confusing thing because, you know, you want to love people and show unconditional love to people, but it's nothing wrong with also standing on boundaries and understanding that we need to figure out, why is this person flipping off the handle like this? We gonna just keep showing unconditional love to them, or is somebody gonna say something? Because all I did was put my coffee in a cup holder and they tripping. Because are able to see through that, you'll be able to understand that their ego is high. And maybe they had a situation where somebody put the coffee in the cup holder and spilled it on them. They didn't apologize. They didn't say sorry. They didn't wipe it up. Made them mad. They ignored that. So now anytime somebody put coffee in a cup holder, they got to make sure their ego speaks up so that they can understand, I got the power in this situation, not you. Because last time I didn't say anything, the other people had the power. When it's a simple mistake. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to spill the coffee on you. Let me clean it up. It's the right thing to do. You spilled the coffee. They shouldn't get mad. Sometimes people's egos be so high that even if you cleaned it up and offered to buy a new shirt or whatever, they still mad. That's how you know it is something deeper than that. And you got to be careful with those people because they don't see no face when it comes to rage and disrespect. No matter who you are, they're just waiting for you to bend the bar back so far to where they explode. That ego is a very dangerous thing. And in, you know, the medical world, you know what I'm saying, the government call it narcissism. Have medications and stuff that, you know, they give you to prescribe you to help you keep those emotions in line. But listen, it's not helping nothing in line. You're still that same person. What they did is gave you a prescription drug to level out your emotions to where you stuck on stupid, to where you don't react when something is happening to you. But say you come off of those drugs, still the same person. Nothing has changed. I think the more we work on ourselves and the more we understand that, you know what, we are all one. Nobody is better, nobody is under. We all even. We're all people that have had problems. There's not one single soul in the world that hasn't had a problem. Now that person would be above us. If it's a single person in the world who never had to go through nothing and is always happy all the time, now that person is above everybody in the world. You be mad at them because what are you doing to where you never had no issues in life? But if you get out of the sense of the ego and entitlement and realize and understand, you know what? We are all the same. I'm attracting someone into my life that I'm cool with because I could see something in them that I see in me. And if I put my anger and hostility down for 1 second and be able to get in a rage because somebody stepped on my shoe and now we in here fighting, and understand that I'm just upset because I don't like people to step on my shoes or disrespect me. But don't turn a little situation into a bigger situation. I seen so much of it growing up in this city, man. And it starts with these teenagers. And there, it seems like, you know what I'm saying, they get young with these guns. And back then when I was growing up, it was house parties. And the thing is, it was easy to disguise in a house party because there's so many people in there trying to have fun. You don't know who has the weapon. You know how many bullets flew across my face and hit cars? How many times I had to run with people at these house parties and hurry up and get in the car and leave? And we're teenagers. Something happened, some wrong thing was said, something was done, and they didn't hesitate to pull out the weapon and fire. And either kill people, scare people, or the police come. You know, you can put these metal detectors and stuff inside of these buildings to make sure these people don't come in with these guns. But it's somebody at the metal detector that's taking money to be able to sneak the gun in. because they are going through something at home where they need the extra money. We don't never know. Everything is a risk. But if people understood and put their ego down and understand, my guy, you have no ops. You can easily ignore a situation. A lot of times I think people have ops, especially men, is because, again, you're running with a crew or someone that has done somebody janky. In my words, or the words that I like to use, they did somebody wrong. And now that person is coming back to haunt them. Especially if you're at a level of success where you're succeeding in life, you piss somebody off at some point in your life. Or you was in a gang, you tried to shoot at them, whatever. Get security. Somebody who's trained to have a gun. So if something happened and the police come, you don't go to jail. And if, you know what I'm saying? Or you don't lose your life. The world we live in is so complex. I can tackle this conversation on many different ways. I think it all boils down to not the guns, not the violence, but the people that are acting out the violence and with the guns and the weapons. Their level of ego and feeling entitled due to, you know what I'm saying, not having that power or sense of self in whatever environment they're in causes them to feel entitled over everybody, which means they will do whatever they can necessary to hold that power. It's dangerous, it's crazy, it's messed up, and it's the world we live in, to where bringing kids, new souls into the world, like, you really got to train them on the internal things that they need to be able to control. Because if not, their level of anger and rage and hostility towards the world for whatever pain they're feeling and the ego boost they need to gain their sense of power will ultimately end up in them being hurt or somebody trying to hurt them. Once you die, you can't come back from that. There's no redos. There's no second chances. There's no, I should have did this, I should have did that. That was over with. That is done. And it starts with the internal work. Everybody has a boiling point. Everybody has a point where they get angry, they get mad, they get upset. We are human. But if we learn how to control that aspect of it and understand and process, you know what I'm saying? Hey, this is my boundary. I don't like your level of disrespect. So you can either respect me or I'm going to choose to leave from this situation. A lot of us in life don't do that. They don't say that. Don't stand up or have boundaries. So people trying to search for power and control know how to sort out the ones that won't say nothing. It's the ego. Everybody has one. But it's important that if you don't want to lose your life or you don't want to end up in prison, that you have to learn what it takes inside and the work that needs to be done to control that anger and control that ego. And understand that I know you may be searching for power, but you're not going to get it like that. And if you do, you may get it for a while until you encounter someone that needs more power than you, which means they're willing to go through any lengths to get it. And the moment you step outside of your comfort zone, wherever you are, you have the opportunity of running across that, because someone is dealing with whatever they're dealing with at home, in their environment, whatever. Put your ego down and know when to use it and train it. I promise it will work out in the long run. I've never really been a club person, due to the simple fact that I'm just not a club person. But I have went in my life. I have done the, house party thing, and I've seen so many situations happen. Like, sometimes I couldn't even dance or have a good time because I'm too busy being aware of my surroundings. And people don't realizing a lot of the house parties we went to growing up out here in Sacramento, half of the people didn't dance. I didn't realize it then, but I look at it now, like, you feel me? Everybody was on guard. Everybody couldn't dance or, have a good time because they were on guard in case something was going to happen. We all in here with, ego power trips. And if something go haywire or go wrong in here, it's liable to get chaotic. So we got to be aware just in case we got to run or avoid conflict. Crazy world we live in. And, I'm just one person. I can't, spread, the word to everybody, because a lot of people look at it like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that's not me. Oh, I don't do that. And that's denial in oneself. I'm not y'all, so I can't really help with that. But I can be the example that I wish to see. And that means I control my anger a lot. People say, you know what I'm saying, stupid stuff to me. People get on the internet and talk, say whatever. People try to discredit me. People try to put me down. People try to make it seem like what I'm into ain't it. I ignore it. Because you're not stopping me from being me. I'm still going to be me. Now, if I'm disrespecting you, you know what I'm saying, or making you feel some type of way, that's different. Tell me. And I'll adjust my behavior accordingly. But it's a difference in ego and power struggle versus you being who you are. People don't know who they are. So anything that you like or you into and you confident about it, they will try to snatch it away from you. They will try to talk about it. They will try to make you feel less than because they have no sense of self-worth about themselves. It's all based off of ego, power, and control. The more I can dim a person's light and, and make them feel less than, that's where I get my sense of self-worth from, because I have none. It's many, man. It's wild. It's a lot of the reason why it's violence. It's a lot of the reason why, you know what I'm saying, people ending up in jail. People, ending up dead and can't come back from that. Power, control, validation. I gotta be somebody. I gotta be known. I gotta go from feeling like I'm not nothing to something. But it's a way you go about it. And it's not a power struggle. It's a validation inside yourself and knowing what you like, who you are, what you stand for, and knowing that anybody's outburst and rage directed towards you is not directed towards you. It is personally how they feel towards themselves, but they don't know how to look within, so it's easier to project onto you. Pipe down. Put the ego down. Coming from someone who's had probably only 2 fights in her life. People didn't barked. People didn't, probably didn't like me, but they never said nothing to me. But I get along with a lot of people. I get along with everybody. I don't have not a single problem with nobody. And if I do, it's because they don't like me for having some sense of self about myself, but they don't have nothing for themselves. So they may, put everybody on the hate train by talking about me and talking about my failures and, the things I had to endure in life that wasn't so good that they didn't go through. I don't care. I was out here experiencing life just like you were. You took one route, I took the other. But it's somebody who also took my route too. So I don't care. My ego is not so high that I look down on others. If I rock with you, I rock with you. But I also can tell when your ego is so high that you look down on me. And that's where, you know what I'm saying, no love lost, no beef or nothing. I just am going to exit myself out the situation. We all have power. We all have control. We are all, you know what I'm saying, in life carrying something that others don't have. But the moment you try to dim someone else's light because of your ego to have power and control, of feeling like you're not of value, that's where the problem comes in. You got to know your worth. You got to believe in yourself. You got to trust yourself. You got to know that your ego is you being better than you were yesterday, not having power and control over someone else. That's not ego. That's fraud. That's pretend. That's fake. There's not no duplicate of nobody in the world. Even if you twins, identical twins, y'all may look the same, but y'all have 2 different personalities. You know, nobody is born twice. So who you are, what you qualify as, what you have inside of you, your heart is something. Don't let your ego take over. Don't let your ego win. That goes for women and men. Smart. You gotta make sure you know. Let your ops know. I guess you got ops because you got money. So you putting your guns on the internet, letting them know you carry a blicky or whatever. Keep it tucked, cause now they know. Which means if they do come for you, their arsenal is gonna be bigger than yours, cause they know what type of arsenal you got, cause you post it on social media all the time. Ego, power. It's a way you can do it. It's not what you do, but how you do it. The less people know, the less people will be prepared. You feel me? Drop your ego. We all just trying to live. The power that you hold inside of yourself is yours only. Only you can acquire that power, which means you trying to dim somebody else's light to get the power that's inside of you, it is not how that works. You have to find it inside yourself, which means you explore the world, finding and in search of what you like, and things you don't tolerate, and having boundaries and what's okay for you and what's not okay for you. Speak up. If you don't like something somebody's doing, speak up. And if they keep living their life like that, you don't got to judge them. Just separate yourself from them. People are going to live life how they see fit for themselves. That's not an ego trip. I don't think I'm better than you, but I'm not going to deal with you because you're choosing to do something I'm not okay with. More love, more power to you. You're going to find your little circle of people that's okay with that, but I'm not. It's not me having an ego. It's me knowing who I am and understanding I don't want no person that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay for you to speak up and say that. You know? Drop the ego. You don't have to run around carrying guns that can end up you being in jail, end up somebody knowing you got one, and they come with arsenal and take you out first. Get security. If you got big money like that, get some security, man. They're you know what I'm saying, trying to go. Less risk on you. Stop promoting you got ops. Stop making yourself accessible. Stop putting yourself out there. Stop going places where these people are. Stop making it seem like you more better than everybody else. Get your money, lay low, be cool. That ego, excuse my language, will get you fucked up. In these streets of Sacramento, as well as any street in any world, we all searching for power, which means you have people that search inside themselves and find their power, and you have people that get their power from dimming other people's light, and they reckless with it. If you don't know, I just told you. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, because you can't change the world, but you can be the change you wish to see. Starts with you.